Wouldn't blame them. They're gonna have a very long think about it. They do go for the Nyx Assassin. We've seen that many times into the Ember, even into the Grimstroke with the Inkswell. It can be quite a devastating kind of hero to have. We've seen DJ play this as a pos for many times, and he does a very good job of it. GeekFam now, the world is still your oyster with this draft. Like, they've got so many options available to them. It's just a matter of what you want to go for. They have the DK, they have the Quap, they could go back for those if they want. But they're going to have to think about it now. I think there's just too many options.
Yeah, I think the Quap gets a bit harder with Nyx in the pool, although they still take it. It leaves me a bit worried. It's really easy for the Nyx to break up that combo with Spike Carapace, and really easy to punish with your Mana Burn, so you have to watch out for how far you toss that. Quap still leaves it a bit open for Geek, as we have again seen uh, either the Ember or the Quap played by Carl, Cuckoo, and Zephyr. So you've got 3 positions to throw any of these heroes to. It's still fairly open for GeekFam. Fnatic a bit more locked in. It's again likely that we see the Nyx Witch Doctor support, which isn't the most common, but isn't too off the mark. Still have to find out what exactly Fnatic wants from this Jug Witch. If it is for that sustain, I think you'll maybe look for either the Dazzle or the Chen coming out to get that done. Or if you're looking for push, maybe the Enigma, just to give you a lot of push for the heal you have. Those are looking to be solid options here. Even the Beastmaster isn't actually banned out, so that's surprising that both teams have let that slide through without picking it up. That's been a priority ban for a lot of teams.
Well, Fnatic take the DK. Now, whether that's going to be an Ice DK, whether they're going to throw that mid, we don't know yet. We have no clue what they're up to here. But they do go for that DK pickup, maybe just not wanting to give it away to GeekFam again. They don't have the Timber this time, so you haven't got the easiest way to deal with that Dragon Knight, even in the support role. Not to mention, you could have run the mid DK and made the Ember play as a pos 4. We've seen Zephyr do that before as well. So they won't give that combo away to GeekFam. You did point out, though, there are still other heroes there. Like, you've got the Beastmaster if you want that kind of push potential. Not that I think it does particularly amazing up against the Jug Witch Doctor, but it's still a great pick. Just a matter of how they want to run that Quap. Cuckoo himself may not be feeling very good about his last performance on the Quap, so he may just ask to try and play something else this game. Just a matter of what now, because you've got this Dragon Knight to worry about. Maybe you pick the Necrophos yourself and just run that off.
Yeah, it's a possibility there. I think the Necrophos would give them some sustain on top. I just really worry about the impact of this Nyx. It makes it really easy to punish any hero with any form of AoE, Necrophos included. So if they do opt for that, you have to worry about the impact this Nyx can have in your combos. They go with the Luna, so a bit of a shakeup. They exchange heroes here.
Okay.
The Luna comes out, and I think there's potency here for that Luna. They need to get early farm onto Raven for that, and kind of build the same pace you saw Savage have in game 1. So try to have a disruptive offlane there, give your Luna space to farm, be aggressive without your Luna, and by 15 to 20 minutes, the Luna should be ready. So it takes a bit of cooking, but once it's done, it can play, and it's just, I think what Fnatic has can play a lot faster. We've seen Jugs not take too much time to farm up and just join in, either with the SNY build, or the Manta build, or the Diffusal build, or the Mask of Madness. All of them not really the slowest build up, so we'll see if GeekFam is given that space. They most certainly would like that space. I love the ban from Fnatic. They take the Venge, so the aura stacking's not going to be there with this GeekFam draft, and makes it a little bit harder to maximize that Luna early.
I still do prefer this Luna, though, over, say, the Monkey King for a player like Raven. Because Raven does... When you see Raven being the most successful is when he's playing a hero where he can just escalate and farm on. And in fact, they do go for the Ogre as well straight afterwards. So they really do take a page out of Fnatic's book from that last game and just kind of go with the finishing they had. Whether it works out for GeekFam is an entirely different story, but only time will tell. Fnatic, meanwhile, they have one last pick left. 3 seconds reserve time to make this pick.
10 seconds
and
remaining.
it's either going to be a mid hero or an offlane hero. It's either Moon or Ice that's missing. And Okay, we go for a Shadow Demon. I believe that's going to be a mid Shadow Demon.
No.
No, it's an offlane. Alright, I saw that. Ice on his stream has this game. I don't know what it is, but basically he just has random heroes he has to play in the offlane. I was watching this the other day, and I know he does some strange things in games. Shadow Demon offlane's a new one for me.
I feel like we've seen that once, very early on in groups, like way back. I think they've done this once, but it's still not very common, you know. They always do this, Fnatic. It looks like they're going for that route. Still, I think Shadow Demon is a core. You get the early farm, you rush the Ags. It's pretty darn good. That control you get, the damage you get out. So, and lots of value, Mike. You've got the Luna to clone. The Luna
Right.
illusions just do so much more for you. So I think that's actually a really solid last pick for Fnatic. I don't think they're kidding around. They can just run this.
Okay. I mean, it makes enough sense when you put it that way. That is very true. You already have the Luna to take clones of. Obviously, the Ags, we've seen it before. You can literally spam the Purge 3 times on one hero if you just want to blow one hero up. Once you do have the Ags, and especially during those later stages of the game where you've hit level 18, the damage is kind of insane. I believe it's something like you can deal 2.4k in total with 3 Purges or something like that. It's somewhat ridiculous, but see if Ice can really make this work, because it's not going to be as easy as it looks. It's still going to be a bit of a hard matchup here up against that Luna Ogre. Looks like they are going to run the Pos 4 Grimstroke on GeekFam. So they're going to run that in the offlane there with Cuckoo. But I do think this is going to be a bit more of a challenging offlane, to say the least, for Fnatic.
Yeah,
You never know, though. I
that's a
guess
word for
you can really spam Shadow Poison quite effectively as a core Shadow Demon.
Yeah, I mean, I think that early progression is going to help. The early levels help. Again, just rushing levels into that disruption for the higher level clones is always really nice when you're playing against a Luna. It's really just down to ensuring that you keep that up early on. I think one thing to watch out for as well is you've got this really strong combination with the Nyx. Like, you can't possibly miss the Impale with that disruption setup. So you can look to that combo in the offlane to really take control early on if Fnatic do want to play aggressive.
You say you can't possibly miss with that disruption setup, John? It's I don't know if you've played any pubs before, but it tends to happen quite a lot. I assure you, it's very possible to miss with the disruption, regardless of how easy it may be. So we do see DJ; he does try to score himself a goal up against Ice. Does successfully do so. GeekFam, of course, looking to really try and dominate this game too after that horrendous game 1 they had. It was quite a stomping from Fnatic, to say the least. Raven's actually rotating down to the bot lane as that Luna for now as well. So they may choose to run the off-lane Luna, maybe in an aggressive tri-lane. That could be very, very effective with an Ogre Grimstroke support lineup.
Yeah, I think that also takes away any issues you might have with going up against that Shadow Demon early. So they're just trying to give Raven a pretty good lane to start off with as well, so he can get that early farm to start snowballing.
This is gonna leave Cuckoo a little bit susceptible here up to that top lane, though, is it not? Like, I understand he'll have the blink when he does hit level 2, but it's gonna be a bit rough. Like, you've got the Shadow Poison that Ice can spam out. You're gonna have DJ there with the Impale. They may eventually just force DJ to come down bot to help out with this aggressive tri-lane, but he'll miss the first Impale of the game. I still worry about how Cuckoo deals with the Shadow Poison spam.
Yeah, he's not quite set up for it. Doesn't have a wand for the early spam, so Ice is just going to build up those stacks and get some really nice early damage on.
Bot lane, though. Savage. Taking a lot of damage, but Jabs was there with the paralyzing cask to make sure they couldn't actually keep going. But that was just a level 1 combo coming out from GeekFam. They can easily just go again if they wish, and they will. There'll be the Stroke of Fate with the Fire Blast, and Jabs, no, he'll still survive. Eventually, Zephyr does get the final auto attack to secure the kill. But if this keeps up, Savage is going to find no form of farm on this jug.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a slow start for Savage, considering how much pressure GeekFam is putting down bot. I think the one thing is that GeekFam's slowing up their EXP progression. So Savage is still going to hit 6 at a good time. And as long as he can get that done, in certain key moments, you can still find a nice kill for yourself.
Of course, in the mid lane, you'll also see Moon there up against Carl. They're actually going at it right now. Carl might be pushing it a bit too far. He does Fairy Fire up, and Moon getting blocked by his own creep wave, and now will turn around. He has the Dragon's Breath in just a few seconds. Chains comes out now from Carl, but Moon is trying to bait him back in. No, he misses the breath. It was a nice attempt. It does just not work out for him, and that was completely blind out from Moon as well. But Carl's completely out of regen, and Moon already has this inbuilt regen, so he doesn't really need to worry. And they do end up killing off Jabs down to the pot lane, and now Moon does go down to the mid lane. Carl finds him anyway.
Yeah, Moon walked right into the T1 range, so he caught a couple of right clicks, and Carl gets to live on, not punished for just staying here with no regen. That's still a reset for Moon, I suppose, when he's back in. Gotta watch out for that Breathe Fire.
That you do. Looking back up to that top lane, Cuckoo is not actually having as much of a struggle as you would once assume. He's actually leading in terms of last hits, or was, now Ice 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 is, but he's doing just fine if he's solo up against his Shadow Demon. Bot lane DJ has rotated down to try and help out, and now Zephyr is going to be in trouble. That Grimstroke about to die, though he will eat a Fairy Fire. Now the Inkswell will come back out. Raven will turn around now, but they've got to be careful. Savage is doing a lot of damage with that spin. They do connect with the Impale as well, though now they'll turn back around onto the jug. There'll be a Lucent Beam, but it won't be quite enough. And now the cast comes back out, bouncing towards Whiteman. He won't die. Savage will salve up, and somehow everyone down that bot lane does survive.
Yeah, there's a lot of back and forth there, and I mean, it looks like they really just want these cores to have that early farm. I think the only time you'll see Fnatic to maybe start pulling ahead in region is when you do have Jabs hit tree. So if he opts for a 1-1-1 build, we see often, I think you've got a bit more space there for Fnatic to try to draw out those engagements.
Mid lane again, Moon's going at it here up against Carl. Does get the Dragon Tail off and doesn't actually have enough damage with the Breathe Fire. And Carl will just pop the Flame Guard, pop some bottle charges, and turn back around now. It's very back and forth in this mid lane as just continuous attempts to try and kill each other off, and it's not something you see too often with an Ember vs DK matchup. Usually they stagnate quite a bit in this mid lane, but Carl and Moon has really been at each other's throats. In fact, bot lane, Whiteman does end up killing off Savage.
Yeah, that's really important for GeekFam. They're investing a lot on this tri-lane, a lot more than Fnatic is, and they need every single kill they can find. So just slowing Savage down is great. Gives them a little bit more EXP to sustain the tri-lane. The progression of all of the supports in this game, though, are really slowed down. Jabs, you look at DJ, Whitemon, and Zephyr, it's not very fast, and this is going to hurt that progression. You do have your offlaners having a better time, like Ice is at 5, Cuckoo's just about to hit that point. So that's an early start for those heroes at the cost of these supports.
A very easy kill down a bot lane onto Whiteman. Yeah, they just chased him down while he was trying to contest that neutral pool that was going on the side. Zephyr and Raven weren't really able to help him out at all, as they were just trying to farm by that tier 1 tower. To allow Savage to try and get himself back into this lane. Raven is still dominating though at 29-6. But now paralyzing cast, DJ is going to be there with the Impale, and Savage is out with the spin. Raven just trying to run away, but the Melodic may just pop him out. Still trying to run, but he should be dead here. They will get DJ, or maybe they won't. He's still running, but eventually does go down. Now the idea is if they can get Jabs on this Witch Doctor, it'd be a positive trade. Somewhat. Stroke of Fate, Fire Blast will be there, but the Healing Ward and Tier 1 Tower will protect Jabs on that Witch Doctor. They just can't secure the support kill.
Yeah, just trying to salvage that entire engagement for losing their Luna. I think with that kill, you balance out Savage's early loss as well. So it's just purely on CS now that you have Raven ahead. This should be the case as the game goes forward, because the Luna can clear camps a lot nicer. But the Jug does have ways, although...
Bot lane again. Whiteman gonna go down. It's at that point now where once you go into the cask and impale, it's just a very, very easy setup for Savage. And that's just the level 2 spin. He's about to get that level 3 spin going as well in this Jug. And well, that's basically when you start guaranteeing kills in this lane.
Yeah, it gets a lot easier to pump that damage out. I think now you might have some more leeway to get rotations out in your supports as well. Does look like GeekFam is the one to get that done first. They want to apply some pressure onto Moon, but he just kind of spots it and walks away.
We're just trying to keep Carl protected on that Ember. He's just falling behind a little bit in terms of farm. But it's like Moon has decided he's going to TP down bot. Does have that dragon form up, and he wants to try and commit it ASAP. Of course, GeekFam may try and just push in that mid wave a little bit onto that tier 1 tower, but they may not have much time. Top lane, however, Ice is going to die thanks to the rotations there from Whiteman and, of course, from Zephyr. But they are going to lose a tier 1 in the process if they don't react. They did use their TPs, so they've got to run all the way back down if they want to try and defend this. And it looks like they aren't even going to bother. They'll run down to the mid lane instead. But I believe Fnatic will have plenty of time to make their way back into that mid lane and defend the tier 1 tower if necessary. So Fnatic will find themselves a very, very free tier 1.
Yeah, this sets them up quite nicely to get a bit more farm. For Savage, just freeing him up to go into the jungle for safe farm now. Needs to play a bit of camp. He is slightly ahead of our Luna in terms of last hits and is actually top of net worth. But you want to maintain that. You want to build into your first big item, which looks to be, in this case, the Maelstrom build. Not something we've seen too often from Jugs now, but still, you know, something they can opt for and should allow Savage to ramp up his own farm.
Mid lane, DJ getting dived. Carl doesn't really have the chains. Remnants almost take him out, but now Moon's there with the Dragon Tail, and Carl, he used all his remnants to try and go after that Nyx assassin kill. So now with the Maledict on top of him, he's probably going to die, but the Flame Guard will protect for now. Savage, meanwhile, chasing Zephyr with a spin. Doesn't have Omni Slash yet, but with the Phase Boots, it should be enough to just chase him down. Meanwhile, Carl is still in trouble, and they will eventually get the kill. Moon the one to pick it up, and now mid lane Cuckoo does come in and secure the junk kill. But here comes Jabs, paralyzing Cask, does bounce back towards the quad, but DJ misses the impale again. So Cuckoo going to keep running, but ultimately with the raindrops blocking out some of that magic damage from the Maledict is just going to be fine. Now, they can't get the trade.
Yeah, rather unfortunate for Fnatic. Losing Savage like that is a bit of a blow. We do see GeekFam with Raven start to pull just a bit ahead with that kill. And this is definitely helping GeekFam a lot. They just want their Luna to be up and running ahead of the Jug. Fnatic, they've got to be a bit careful with how far forward they put Savage, but if they find trades, it should be okay.
Oh, the DK going to be in trouble now, but Ice does go for the disruption. Moon still in huge trouble, does get chased down and killed off. Ice trying to fight back by himself. He's got a lot of Shadow Poison stacks going out on everyone. Now the Death Wards are flying out. Jabs should secure the kill onto Zephyr though. No, he doesn't die quite yet. Whiteman, however, runs back in with the Ink Sword. Should be enough, but now Savage does come in with the Omni Slash. And Cuckoo, he's just trying to run away, but the spin gonna be there, but the blink will also be out from the Quap. And ultimately, that will be a positive trade out from GeekFam. They do get a 2 for 3.
Yeah, it's a lot to throw out, and losing Ice like that isn't the best, but you still find a better trade. Savage carries those kills on his back, and it does give him a bit of an injection. So you're seeing Savage still keep up pace with Raven, Well, the Raven is getting a lot of free space now, uncontested. This might hurt Fnatic down the line if they leave Raven alone for too long, but it looks like for now, Fnatic does just want some early objectives on the map.
That they do. I mean, you've got a Dragon Knight after all. That's kind of what he does. But they haven't brought that DK up here. Moon is still in the mid lane. Meanwhile, DJ's trying to set up onto Carl, but he's going to be just fine.
Are fortified.
Run back into the mid lane and meet up with his team.
Radiant's mid
GeekFam, they've smoked up as 3 as well. Going to run into DJ, who will break the smoke. They'll place a sentry, and that should mean DJ dies. Sonic Wave will be out, however. Spike Carapace will protect for a little bit, but ultimately they do secure the kill. However, they don't defend that tier 1 top tower.
Yeah, I think that's a bigger win for Fnatic. They break the smoke, they use it on a support, and they're in a prime position to fight back if they wanted to, although they don't have Omni, so probably not the best idea to jump into that, and they're just going to be happy to find that free objective.
With that as well, Savage should be getting very close to picking up that Maelstrom now. He is bringing out a Mithril Hammer for himself in that junk. He's going to need some kind of farming tool like that to be able to keep up with the Luna, of course, because she does have the inbuilt glaives. Raven actually opting to go for a Dragon Lance himself on that Luna. Well, we don't really know what... No, we do know what else he's going for. He is going to go into the Manta build now. So, fairly standard stuff. You did mention he should go physical build on this Luna this game, and that's exactly what he does intend to do. It's going to be a matter of whether the Savage can keep up.
Yeah, it's a lot more value for GeekFam as they do have the Ogre, so I think you don't want this to drag on too long still. DJ trying to scout out.
He does, but Whiteman will get a stun off onto the junk. Savage going to lose a lot of HP, so he's just going to spin TP away. That'll mean Fnatic just are going to have to back everyone out.
under attack.
They're just trying to get control of that GeekFam jungle and try and take it away from Raven. But GeekFam, of course, are refusing to let that go. It seems as though Fnatic are going to at least need that mid-tier 1 tower before they have full control of that jungle. Moon already looking to try and set that up now on the DK.
Yeah, it's been slow going for that mid. They've been focused on the side lanes a lot more. Once that's out, your rotation should be a bit more successful. This is giving some space to Fnatic as well to try to farm up. You look at Ice, does have the Necronomicon 1. His farm is starting to kick into gear. It's just going to finish his Arcane Boots next. Really down to him how to itemize whether he goes for durability for his team or just more damage for the Ags. Gonna be important.
He's been caught out here. Tried to go on to Zephyr there with the disruption, but he will ultimately die. And make matters worse, Carl did end up picking up the regen rune and now jumps in. Still has the regen active, by the way. Carl will keep going, but now he's been stunned up. Soulbind will be there, however. Carl took a lot of damage, but it won't matter. Raven still secures a kill onto Jabs, and Carl looks like he will take out the Melodict unless he gets a Sleight of Fist off, and he won't. He will die. Now Savage goes for the Omni. It is onto Raven, but he's not taking that much damage. Cuckoo will also jump in on that Queen of Pain, and this Jug just can't finish off the kill, so Cuckoo will chase him down, understanding Spin is not available. But they don't have a way to cancel the TP. Nevertheless, though, mid lane, Sonic Wave does come through. Moon will die as well as DJ on that Nyx Assassin. And these two teams are just going at it. Constant team fights going on. In fact, it's not even over. Cuckoo jumps in onto Ice. Disruption will come out. Jab's trying to follow up, but now Wyman will stun him up with the Fire Blast. Zephyr back in there with Carl on the Ember. They'll go back onto Jabs, rather just try and kill off Cuckoo. The Quap does die, but Ice will also die. Now Jabs does finally go down, but Savage, he's going to make a run for it. He doesn't have Spin or TP right now, so all he could possibly do is fight back. But GeekFam, afraid of the rotations to come in from Fnatic, do back off.
From that exchange, GeekFam is really starting to pull ahead. Not a massive lead yet. 2K, 9-17 at 15 minutes in. It's still the start, and you are seeing Raven widen that gap between him and Savage. So our Luna is building up. Just one part away from the Manta. This is going to be a big timing for GeekFam. I think Fnatic, they've got to be really careful with whether or not they sacrifice Savage in exchange. You need your Jug to be up as well, and just with a Maelstrom, it's not quite enough. He is going for the S and Y, so he just wants to bulk up and keep that aggression, which I think is perfectly fine. It's just that he needs those items up more at first, and Fnatic needs to tighten up how they initiate. They've been kind of scattered out when they force these fights. They need to be able to disable a couple of these slippery heroes first and ensure their supports have some space to channel, especially Jabs. You need him alive with the Death Ward to really help you with the damage here.
Yeah, that you do. Of course, Cuckoo's actually going to go for a Necro 3 book rush on that Quap, which is something we don't really see every day on those Queen of Pains, but that's what he wants. Bot lane, Jabs is going to get caught out on the Witch Doctor and should just die. Will use the Death Ward, but he does get tipped for it. However, Fnatic, mid lane, do start forcing that tier 1 tower. So I'm not sure if that's really a GeekFam win. They're missing out on a lot of objectives here.
Radiant's bottom tower
They do get the bottom tier 1 at least. Their mid tier 1 on its last legs will just be denied off there from Whiteman. And so now all tier 1's down for GeekFam, and to make matters worse, Moon does have that blink up now. It's just coming on the courier.
That should really help Fnatic out with their issue in starting these fights. So they've got a solid, dependable stun to start off with. Not just DJ walking around and getting spotted, which, you know, GeekFam has been very disciplined about. They've got so many sentries on the map to ensure that this Nyx doesn't get max points. So you're going to have to rely on Moon to jump in if you want to force fights. There you go.
Does jump in. It's going to be an easy pos 5 kill there onto Whiteman. He will just die. Gonna need a bit more than that though, I guess, for Fnatic. Like, you still want to really kill off Raven, who is sitting at almost 10k net worth now on that Luna. I believe he just needs that ultimate orb to finish off the Manta, and that's basically done after this ancient creep wave though. Soulbind gonna come out mid lane. Carl gonna be able to remnant out, but the Maledict will tick him out anyway. In fact, it was Ice there with the Shadow Poison that did secure the kill onto that Ember Spirit. They do invade that dire side triangle, trying to find out Raven, but he is already left. Now Moon looking to just deal with these Necromonicon units from Cuckoo. Those are level 3, by the way, now.
Yeah, it's a good amount of gold going the way of Fnatic. You do have the Necronomicon level 3 from Cuckoo up and running. So there is more coming out from those books now. Just a bit more potency for the push as well. You gotta be a bit careful there.
Never mind. Savage will just spin TP. They didn't quite get the Fire Blast off in time, so he had plenty of time to get out of there. Overall, though, do you think GeekFam's winning this game? Like, in terms of net worth, obviously they are, but they've lost 3 tier 1 towers already.
Radiant
They've only taken 1 back themselves. I'm not sure if you call this a win. In fact, hold that thought, because they are going to smoke up now. But Moon will blink out in time, so now smoke has been broken. They're going to try go through the mid lane and maybe get DJ on this Nyx Assassin, but he's also out of there. So I suppose the only option left is to maybe set up for that tier 1 mid tower, but they don't have a creep wave.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame without smoke. You mentioned GeekFam, if they're winning or not. It's 11 to 18 with just a 2k advantage. That means all of your gold's going to the Luna, so it's really down to Raven to try and carry that. I think the Luna can overtake quite nicely, but you also worry about the potency of those disruption illusions. We've seen a lot of Lunas not deal with it as well. So it's an issue of a back and forth timing there. Still, Savage a bit too far forward.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Be okay, but top lane Savage is going to go for the spin away. He had TP off cooldown in a few seconds, but now, while that spin's gone, he is just going to die. This junk pick just hasn't really seemingly worked out at all quite yet for Fnatic. They're still trying to get that farm up onto Savage. He's got the Yasha, but just hasn't got the Sange. Meanwhile, down at the bot lane, Moon, Dragon Tail out onto Carl. He will also get impaled, and Moon will just try and TP away, but Whiteman had the Fire Blast. He was right underneath Vision as well, so it was a very, very easy stun out for the Ogre. And there was just no way that DK was getting out of that situation.
Yeah, I mean, GeekFam has been really disciplined about their warding. They've had a lot of sentries, they've had some pretty good obs wards as well, and with that, they go straight to the pit that is spotted out by Fnatic though, so they know what's going on.
Well, they know DJ's there on the staircase as well, so DJ might have to back off for a little bit, but GeekFam feel the same way. Shadow Poison's coming up from Ice. Can't let them stack up too high. This Roshan attempt will be nullified, at least for now. They're not going to go back for a bit, I don't think.
Yeah, that should give Fnatic some breathing room before forcing a fight there. They would want Savage around to maybe follow up still. A lot more Fnatic has to work on. It's not too bad. 11 to 22, 4K disparity from that is workable. It does tell you that, again, a lot of this farm on GeekFam is on Raven and no one else. So there are some issues spreading the wealth to Cuckoo and to Carl. It's just that there's still progression there despite that. Like, Carl has the Spirit Vessel, so he's mitigating the heals coming out from Fnatic. And Fnatic haven't really maximized this DJ Nyx. It just hasn't had as much pickoffs and setups as you'd expect it to. So I think Fnatic has to try and build off of the control they do have, but they're much more interested in just trying to keep Savage safe, which is equally as important, but you are giving space away doing that.
Yeah, DJ's basically in the same position that the Zephyr was in last game. He's just trying to go for a Blink Dagger on that Nyx, but he just can't quite get there. And we are getting quite late into this mid game now, where he really does need that up if that's what he wants to go for. He's running really low in terms of gold. Fnatic just desperately trying to hold on to this tier 1 tower. You have the Guiding Greaves now up on Ice, so there's a lot more sustaining durability there on the Shadow Demon. And his whole team for that matter. And are they going to try and sneak a Roshan? I don't think they get away with this. They won't. Savage is still farming the top lane and does take out the tier 2 top tower while they were taking that tier 1 mid. That'll give him enough gold to have the full Mjolnir up. So with that, perhaps you've got enough damage output now from this junk to try and go for another team fight if you are the side of Fnatic. However, you would be fighting into Raven's 10-second BKB charge. GeekFam, they have smoked up. Jumping onto Jabs, they'll go for the chains onto that Shadow Demon with the Sonic Wave now. Ice is going to fall very low. Jabs does go down. There's still chase Ice, but now the Omni does fly out, really killing off no one yet. Cuckoo does eventually fall on the Quap, and now Carl also will go down on the Ember. Whiteman trying to turn around and kill Ice, but he'll be just fine. And so the one time GeekFam actually try and smoke up and make that big team fight happen, unfortunately for them, it was without Raven. And they do end up losing a 3-1 trade, and Fnatic can easily go for the Roshan play now.
Yeah, this is the scary thing about Fnatic. You give them an opening like that, they will take a lot more. So that lead GeekFam had, it's still pretty nice. You are seeing Fnatic's core start to pull ahead, especially Ice. He's just so hard to kill off with what he's built up. He's building up an EXP, he's grabbing that blink as well to get his own easy distance closing for the pickoffs, and with its Aegis coming out here for Savage, it becomes a bit harder to commit on killing the Jug as long as Savage spaces out his spell usage on those 2 lives.
Well, what point do you think you'll see Raven starting to join in on these team fights on this Luna? Like, that last one we just saw, it felt like if he was involved with that 10-second BKB charge, that would have been an entirely different story. He was not there, however. And even now, he is still just prioritizing farm over actually fighting with his team. It kind of begs the question, like, does he outscale the Jug later on in the game?
It's a bit awkward as you go into the late game. Like, her right clicks are nice with the glaives, but Jug, when you reach that point where you do have that mini slash with the Ags, I think there's a lot more openings for the Jug. So you don't want to drag it too late.
Look at
Again,
Savage.
you always worry.
Just look at Savage up at that top lane. He just forced down half the HP of that tier 3 tower now. They'll put the Bloodlust on it, but there's nothing there to try and protect the tier 3 from. I guess the creep wave's coming in. But you're at that point where Savage is going to keep split pushing that top lane, trying to force GeekFam back. Now they can go on to Cuckoo in that mid lane with a nice impale up from DJ.
Oh.
He does also have the blink in Cuckoo. We're trying to blink away, but no, the cast!
Oh.
It was following him down. It cancels the TP. Cuckoo is definitely dead. The Purge got placed there by Ice, and Jabs had enough damage with the Maledict. That paralyzing cast just followed him down with the blink. That is so unfortunate.
Oh, yeah, that's not nice of the cask, and GeekFam from a 4K lead down to just 1K. So Fnatic is building up a lot more. You go back to the point with that Luna. I think Raven, when he went for that BKB, he should fight. Like, there's no other point in early BKB. It doesn't accelerate your farm. So he's missing out on that item, and just like that, Savage takes the tier 3.
That he does. Onto the racks. Soulbind's going to fly out. Now the Inkswell there onto Whiteman, but they're not really going in. They're being very, very hesitant about this. Of course, the healing ward is going to be there from Savage, just healing up all the damage they pump out onto Moon. So he's just fine with taking all this damage. Now the healing ward does die, but they've found the melee racks up at the top lane, and GeekFam, have they waited too long? Ice, he jumps in with the disruption. Now Cuckoo gonna try and get in there.
Oh.
Sonic Wave does connect on two, but the Omni will kill him off. They just can't win this. The Dragon Tail there onto Raven. They clear them out. And Fnatic back into that racks now, secure the top lane. There'll be a buyback out from Whiteman, but they're out of there.
Yeah, all of that without having to expend the Aegis as well. So Savage is still good to go, and you're seeing that sustain kick in here, Mike. You've got 2 levels now on Jabs with a Voodoo. So every time they have the Voodoo and Healing Ward up, man, you just can't kill these guys off. They just stay alive for too long.
Oh, Whiteman, he got jumped on. He can't die like this. He just bought back. He doesn't yet, but Impel does come in from DJ, and that's going to be enough. Whiteman's gone for 70. And Fnatic, I mean, they're full HP and basically full mana. They may feel like they can keep going through that mid lane. You've also still got the Aegis there on Savage, and he wants to go. Raven also has the Eclipse. DJ jumps in, gets the stun off with the Stroke of Fate. Now Cuckoo will try and protect. Soulbind does fly out. Moon, he blinked in to try and get a stun off. But they're not really going to follow up on that Soulbind. It's very, very defensive. And it looks like they are just going to try and wait out Whiteman, but you've got so much sustain here with the Guardian Greaves healing ward and the heals from Jabs. And now Raven getting taken out by his own illusions. Carl trying to come in from the back, from the behind, but it doesn't really work out. He has to remnant back forward. Now Ice being purged up. They do BKB. He will die. Cuckoo jumps in onto Jabs, but Dragon Tail does come out from Moon. He does die now. Savage, however, is in trouble. He still holds onto the Aegis and will lose it. Jabs, Death Ward with the cask. DJ unable to get a stun off. Fnatic, do you want to keep going? They still have plenty of time on that dragon form. And now Cuckoo's dead. And so they say, yes, we'll keep going. Omni Slash is back up in about 10 seconds.
They've just finished up the Scotty while all that was happening as well for Savage. So he has more stats and more damage.
Getting jumped on. Disruption going to save him. He'll be fine to just blink out of there. Now with the dragon form illusions, they can just keep pushing in that racks. Savage goes for the big Omni. Wyman going to drop very, very quick. Cuckoo, or rather Carl, does manage to remnant away. But Savage doesn't mind that. He'll go back into that mid lane racks. And we still have Eclipse there on Raven. He has not been able to commit it. Another Soulbind flies out, but they've already lost that mid racks. Sonic Wave, no, Moon takes no damage. He had the BKB up. They just can't kill him. And now Fnatic's back in. They purge up Raven. He BKBs, pops the Eclipse, but Savage is taking hardly any damage. Raven's dying too quick. He will go down. Cuckoo needs to run, but Ice is on the chase with the Shadow Poison spam, and they get him as well. Oh, this is looking bad. This is looking real bad for GeekFam as they are onto the tier 4 towers now. They can't push the final lane of racks, but it doesn't matter. They just don't respect the side of GeekFam with this draft at all right now. As Carl's trying to run, but he's been stunned up and there's too much damage coming in. He will fountain, or he will remnant to the fountain, but they're just camping the fountain now. Nice little force stuff from Jabs. Oh. Who four-staffed
boy.
him in? How dare they? It was Zephyr on the Grimstroke that managed to get that done. Savage, however, is just concentrating on the tier 4 towers. They're still trying to defend this, but Savage is pushing way too fast. There's so many heals coming in, they can't get through the HP pools. They never have to back off. Now, Carl, he ends up going down in the Ember. No buyback available on him. They jump back in with Cuckoo, but Cuckoo just blinked. He might be dead. Yeah, he's gone. The GG's been called.
Ooh.
Oh, Fnatic, what a way to finish this series off. They just go for one Rax and they never go back.
That is really
23
one way to do it.
question mark.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. And Fnatic, well, game 1 was highly dominant. Game 2, GeekFam, it looked like they had a lot better of an early start. They bled one fight, and Raven going away with a BKB. That was it. Just Fnatic from Roche into the high ground, non-stop, turned it all around. So, unfortunate for GeekFam, really strong showing from Fnatic, and quite the series to start us off with, Mike.
That it is, John. Of course, we do have another series coming up straight after this. It is going to be Boom Esports versus Signal Ultra. Signal Ultra, they're currently just sitting all the way at the bottom of the groups, I believe, and if I'm correct in saying this, John, I don't believe there's a chance for them to make it back into the playoffs. I believe they basically are already eliminated. However, they do have a series coming up with Boom Esports, so I guess you could call this one a bit more of a show match here, though Boom are still fighting to try to get to that upper bracket position in the groups right now, and I believe there is still somewhat of a possibility that they could make it, because they do also have a second series on tomorrow. So assuming they can get a 2-0 here and maybe a 2-0 tomorrow, there's a chance that they could move up. But we'll double check those stats anyway. It is MLP Dota on JohnXFire. We'll see you all again in about 20 minutes for that second series of the day.